I'm on my way, I go where you're going. Lead me astray, there's something about you. Don't cut me off, cause baby we're so good. Together we're so good. Now I ain't going back where we at. I think about you now all the time. Now I ain't going back where you at. Cause baby I just need to tell you that our love is like the perfect crime. I love for you and I love for you and my love for you is so unkind. My love for you and my love for you and hey, there's no way I'm leaving without you. Cause I'm addicted to the rush you give me. Don't cut me off, cause baby we're so good. Together we're so good. Now I ain't going back where we at. I think about you now all the time. Now I ain't going back where you at. Cause baby I just need to tell you that our love is like the perfect crime. I love for you and I love for you and my love for you is so unkind. My love for you and my love for you and so let me get out on my way. No matter what, I'm on my way. Our love is like the perfect crime. I love for you and 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 our love is like the perfect crime. I love for you.
Hello.
I love
Yeah.
for you and
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Okay, so hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So all right. So before, we are still mentioned. Is there anyone that have anything or any question that you feel like you want to ask?
Hi, Kelly. This is Alfred. I have.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So my question is regarding the part share decoupling, right? So you mentioned about the Singapore citizen will buy 100%, and then after that sell 1% to the PR. Okay. So in this case why not when buying new launch they straight away go for 91 and 1? Why do they have to go through the hassle of 100 and then sell 1?
I think I can answer on that. If they come in together, then the higher ABSD will hit the whole property price, which is the PR would be 5% for the first property. So when you buy first, then sell the 1%, or I think you should get the PR to buy the 90. Then the PR percentage will be lower.
Yeah, as I mentioned just now, usually we know if it's a matrimonial. That means if it's a married couple, it's not applicable, right? Yeah, but in this case, if let's say if they are not married couple, that means they are just friends or whatsoever. That's why we propose this solution.
Okay. So in the case if they straight away go for 99 and 1%, then then they have to pay the PR will have to pay the full APSD.
Yeah, if it's not related. Yeah, if it's not married couple. Yes.
Oh.
Correct. It's correct. Oh, wait, the higher ABSD will apply.
Okay. Understand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can? Sure. Anyone else? Wow. Anyone else has any other question?
Can you explain again? Sorry for the CPF, because I hardly come across those above 55. So can you explain again what is the CPF treatment for all the regulation that we're supposed to know for those people above 55 age or approaching 55. Wait a minute, wait a minute, let me record. I will need to repeat. Okay.
No problem. Let me try. Yeah. Okay. So just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Audrey, right? You know, see, so happy. Now my screen is back. Okay. So first thing first is that I just recap just now the scenario lah. So for example, you have I say you have a project. Okay, so what happened is that this is a project. It's a resale project So for example, we have this husband. So this husband is maybe say 56 years old. And then you have the wife. Okay, so maybe the wife is below 51st or 52 years old. Okay, so for example, right, their CPF usage, husband CPF usage is around, maybe I say it's around 720. No, not so hard. Wait, not so much. CPF is maybe around 600. Okay, maybe the wife, the CPF used for his accrued interest is maybe 500,000. Okay, so the thing is that their valuation currently is pathetically is only 750. That is a real story. So what happened is that this case that I met up with, right, happens that the husband, his RA already meet the full retirement sum, which I cannot remember is how much, but I know he has already met. So in this case, right, it means that, right, whatever CPF that he is going to return after the sale, it will go back to his OA ordinary account. Okay, but because he has already fulfilled this RA with a full retirement, yeah, I think so. I cannot remember because it's like almost more than 6 months ago already, this case. Then after that, right, whatever amount that in the OA, right, can be withdrawn as a cash. Okay, so you must understand, first thing first is that he already reached age 56. That means it's already more than 55, and he already his retirement account already meet the FRS, so he can do that. So that's why when they decouple out, so this amount actually goes back to his OA. Of course, the wife will actually reborrow again. That means they will lend again because they already fully paid the house, fully paid. So right now, right, whatever, so this one they will withdraw as cash for monthly installment. So in future, right, whatever amount that is going back to the property will be in cash instead of CPF. Did I answer your question?
Okay, you see it withdraw in cash, meaning I still.
No, just go to CPF website and say you want to withdraw some money, like a bank account like that.
So they will just transfer to your bank account.
Correct.
I see. Okay. So whatever amount is up to you to decide how much you want to withdraw. Oh, I see. Okay.
As long as, but the thing is, usually they won't withdraw everything. Why? Because OA still pay 2.5% interest,
Okay.
which is high,
So they can withdraw. Oh, yeah.
Bank interest how much?
Yeah, bank interest.
So customer say, hey, y'all don't withdraw everything, leave the money in the CPF, but of course, without feeling the stress and without really needing to use their own hard cash every month, they use this method lor. So it's like go one round reset the CPF lah. Okay. I hope this is
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any more? Yeah, I think so. I can't remember because I checked his CPF statements. Then he said, fulfill already. So we can do it this way lah. Okay, anyone has other questions? Just now the homework got any question or not? Okay. So for your today, right? Only starting from this class lah, but it's something that's very, very simple. I have done up. Because I find that there is certain restriction for the PA calculator for decoupling lah. So later on, I will share something with you guys which I actually done for myself whenever I'm doing my decoupling, and then I hope that later I can share with you guys. Then you guys will have a easier understanding about what decoupling is about, and you all can do your own calculation better. Okay, so Siqing has a question. Say that if a married couple buy their first property, which is a private, they don't have to pay ABS. Yeah, correct. So does the PR have to pay the full ABSD when the SD exit? Yes. So when the PR buys over the 50%, they have to pay the 5% of the 50% when she buys over. Still need to pay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So should get the PR to buy 99 and SG at the start instead of 50/50 to reduce the ABSD. In a way, yes. Yeah. In this case, if let's say they are matrimonial, they buy in this way first. So in future, when she buy back, it's only 1% of the ABSD. Clever. Yep. Yeah. The reason is because it's a first matrimonial so you don't need to pay the additional buyer's stamp duty when can we buy back? Usually the bank will not. We will recommend them that if they really want to go for the next property so quickly, it's about 6 months to a year. Correct. But of course, like what Audrey mentioned, if totally don't want to pay extra, then wait for 3 years. Yeah. Sorry, we can't share the notes because we are not allowed to give out the notes. So that's why whatever that you guys can capture, try your best to get the thing written. I think most importantly is it's really now that when you are having the the lesson with us, try to have the understanding so that, because I think we as an agent we can never remember and I don't think we have the time to refer to the notes. Maybe some will, some will not. Okay. Yeah, some law firm don't want to do. In fact, the few regular ones that we are engaging, they also don't, like Anthony Law, they also not doing already. So, but of course there are some law firms that are still doing. So maybe when time comes, you all may want, we will see what other contacts we can share with you all. Then you all can, because if it's within a short time frame, I don't think any law firm will do. Yep.
Kelly,
awarding ABSD. Yeah.
Sorry, Kelly, can I check with you for decoupling? If the buyer do not have the enough cash to top up, there's no way they can do decoupling, is it?
Correct.
Cannot do at all, Even if they have enough to give back to the seller CPF, it's only the shortfall of maybe a little on the cash. There's no way we can right pocket, left pocket kind of thing.
Cannot write off.
Oh, okay.
Because you must, CPF requires you to return back for internal.
Okay, then even the balance cash, they also must have the cash. Right?
The balance cash means.
Okay, let's say the cash top up. Okay, let's say they are able to pay back to the seller CPF, but they only shortfall of some cash. Then that part also can't do something like left pocket, right pocket, right?
Why is there a shortfall of cash?
Let's say okay. Let's say okay, because when we use the calculator,
Yeah.
at the end of it, there's a cash top up for the buyer at the buyer side.
That
There's
one,
a cash top
cash top
up.
up means you must really pay back the cash law, because it's either the CPF that you need to return or the outstanding loan that you need to return. So you cannot waive off one because you need to pay back.
Cannot do right pocket, left pocket kind of thing.
Cannot.
Okay.
Mm.
Understand.
So in order to check the valuation of property, you can use the valuation app in the PA, but I usually go real time lah. That means I will text the bankers because I do not want to have any surprises that in actual fact, if it cannot support or the valuation given is too high or too low, then when the law firm actually do the valuation, then we have a problem. So I mean, for an initial calculation, it's fine that you use the app to do it. I'm not saying the app is not accurate, but I'm just saying that you maybe want to be assured that there's no other. So usually, because I also will go for a few other banks, like other banks. So that's why in case that your customers is not using UOB, then you don't want to be caught in a situation that the valuation is not accurate. Yeah, so for Lina's question, right, if 1% of the owner actually uses more CPF, so let's say, for example, in this case, we say that it's a 1 million property, then 1% by right is only is that 10,000 ma. So if you use 300K means 290,000, right? The 99% buyer that buys back, right, they need to use cash to pay back to the CPF. To the seller, cannot be waived off. Okay, so I think we are almost time. I do not know if the lawyer is here. Just give me a short moment. Timothy, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, you're here. Oh, sorry, hidden in the background. All right. So,
Sorry.
hi. So guys, we shall start now. As I mentioned, Timothy is a lawyer from Anthony Law. So, we are very honored today that we have him to share about some of the typical case studies. So, over to you. Okay.
Right. Thanks, Kelly. Hi, everyone. My name is Timothy from Anthony Law. Very interesting questions we have had in the past 5 minutes before the start. So, all these questions will be addressed throughout the presentation today. Very interesting questions in relation to 99.1, coupling, and some cash deficit. Okay, so this will be covered in a bit. Okay. So today's session, I'll be covering part purchase, decoupling, sub-part purchase, which would be the 100 cell one, and a few tax considerations when we are doing all these arrangements. Then at the end, we will do a little question and answer. I will also touch a bit on purchase under trust arrangements. Okay, let's begin. So what exactly is a part purchase? So a part purchase is the purchase of a partial share of property. If two people buy a property, if one exits to sell to the other party, that is considered a part purchase. It could be in any proportion, 50-50, 99-1, 98-2. Okay, so that is when one owner transfers his or her share to the other remaining owner. Then the outgoing party will not have any other property. He or she can go on and purchase another property without incurring the ABSD. Okay, so some considerations. Okay, and it enables the other party, the outgoing party, to own another property, right? It saves you a lot of ABSD, and the other party can also go on and take a bank loan as his or hers first, which would be 75%. Some tax considerations, which is extremely important. So even if you buy 50%, 1%, the same tax rules apply. It depends on your citizenship status. It also depends on the number of properties that you have in Singapore, residential properties that you have in Singapore. Okay, so earlier on, there were some questions about if it's a PR and a Singapore citizen, if they are unmarried, so they do not qualify for the ABSD remission. should the PR or the Singapore citizen own 99%? It should be the PR, it will make more financial sense. So that when the PR is ready to buy over the other 1% share, he or she, the PR, will only need to pay ABSD on that 1% purchase price. So it's substantial tax savings. Okay, then there was another question. If the PR and the Singapore citizen are not married, okay, if they buy together, the ABSD is charged on the full purchase price based on the PR's profile. So another 5% ABSD. Okay, so usually what people do, if they are unmarried, PR and SC, the SC will buy first, then sell 1% to the PR. That way, the ABSD is only paid on 1% of the value of the property. Okay, so stamp duty is also payable if you do trust or gift. Any change in beneficial ownership, you have to pay stamp duty. Okay, the procedure for part purchase and or decoupling. So there are two case studies. I've included two case studies. The first case study is 50-50. Okay, so John and Mary are both SCs and joint tenants. So joint tenants, when they do part purchase, it is automatically assumed that they are owning the property as 50-50. Okay, let's consider John's side first. It's always easier to consider the seller's side. So when John sells 50% of his property, which is valued at 750,000, derived from the full valuation. Okay, he has an existing loan of 350. Why 350? Because his loan is also split 50-50. Outstanding loan on the property, 7,000 by 2. So John's share of the loan is 350. Okay, so when he sells the property, he'll receive 750,000. We have deduct the loan and the amount of CPF that he has used. 200,000. Okay, the buyer's side, Mary's side. So Mary is acquiring another 50% share, which is 750,000. She already owns 750, so now she's acquiring another 50%. Her share of the loan is also 350. Okay, when John sells and Mary buys, a new loan will have to be procured because this is the initial loan was in two names, so the new loan will have to be in Mary's sole name. So Mary will go to the bank and say, I want to buy a property worth 750,000. Okay, the bank will lend her 75% of 750,000, which will be this. The bank will also give her another loan to refinance her share of the existing loan. Okay, I think this figure is wrong, but basically if you add 350 and 562, that would probably be Mary's loan. So Mary's financing will be here. When she buys the property, she'll have to pay 5% to John in cash. She'll take a loan of this amount, and then she can use CPF or pay up for the remaining 20% in cash. Her stamp duty payable is only 17,100, okay, which is based on the 50% valuation. Now, if we look at 99.1, you will see that there will be substantial tax savings in terms of buyer's stamp duty. So remember this figure, 17,100 is 50-50. So 99.1, John and Mary, both Singapore citizens, they purchased the property 99.1 at the start. Now, John, he has a pay increment, his CPF very strong, he want to go and purchase another property. So they are ready to decouple. John will sell 1% to Mary based on the valuation of 1.5. Okay, his purchase price is only 15,000. The buyer's stamp duty for Mary will only be $150. Okay. Now, if we look at John's side, the seller side, if we look at the numbers, you will realize that there will be a shortfall of 140,000. This is because John only sells the property for 15,000. However, he will need to refund his CPF of 150. So that is where the shortfall comes. So when people do 99.1, it's always advisable to get the 1% owner to use as little CPF as possible so that when the time comes for them to decouple, the shortfall or the cash top-up that is needed will be less. But of course, if no choice, they want to use all the CPF that they have, then yes. But when the time comes to decouple, they have to top it up. So that this accounts, and this is the explanation for the deficit, the cash top-up. Okay, left hand, right hand method, not encourageable. should always treat them as two separate seller and buyers, and the deal has to be at arm's length. It's a proper deal. Okay, the procedure and timeline for decoupling or part purchase. So when they're ready to decouple, of course, they will meet up with you, you explain to them the process. Okay, then we come to the law firm. We have to draft the sale and purchase agreement. Then second, of course, we pay the stamp duties 14 days from the sale and purchase agreement. Completion will usually be 8, 10, or 12 weeks. Okay, some other questions. How much deposit needs to be paid? 5% minimum cash down payment. This is MES rules. How soon after can the seller purchase another property? Okay, so John is selling his property. When they have decoupled, he can go on immediately after to buy another property. So as soon as they sign the sale and purchase agreement, John can purchase another property. Okay, however, if John is relying on his CPF refund, okay, if we refer back to this example, oops, sorry. If we refer back to this example, because John will be getting back 200,000 into his CPF. If he intends to use this 200,000 to go on and purchase another property, then the completion between the two properties must be at least 1 month apart. This is to allow for the CPF funds to go back and then to be applied to come back out for his new purchase. Okay, some other key points to note. If CPF funds were used, any and all CPF funds must be returned to the CPF plus interest. Okay, this one we talked about it earlier. The existing mortgage. The remaining owner must do a refinancing. So there will be two parts of his loan, or his or her loan. Okay, sub-part purchase. This will be the 100 sell one. For example, as a new launch, building under construction, the mom or the parent has an existing property. So buy under the kid's name first. Then the kid sell 1% to the mom or dad in order to go and process a loan, because the kid does not have sufficient income as of now. Okay, so case study 2. Adam and Eve are newlyweds, desire to own another property together. However, Eve already owns one property. If they buy together in both names, of course, the higher ABSD rate will apply. So a sub-part purchase can achieve their goal if they want to own the property together and save taxes. So the procedure. Adam will pay the 5% booking fee at the show flat in his sole name. Okay, so the option is issued in Adam's sole name. He pays stamp duty, he pays the 15% deposit in cash. After a while, Adam will seek approval from the developer to do the sub-sale. Adam and Eve will then enter into an agreement between each other, whereby Adam will sell 1% to Eve. Then the developer will issue a new sale and purchase agreement in both their names. Okay, Eve will only pay the BSD or ABSD on 1% of the purchase price. Adam, if applicable, depending on when he sells, will have to pay the SSD. If it's within the first year, then of course it's 12%, but it's all based on the 1% sale price. After that, then the whole procedure starts. They apply for a bank loan, they use their CPF, so on and so forth. It's a normal process after that. The procedure, same thing, it's a 3-step approach. Like I explained earlier, initially it will have to be in one person's name, the person without any existing property. The 5% option fee you have to be paid in cash. Thereafter, stamp duty paid in cash, 15% also paid in cash. Okay, we of course do not advise them to use any bank loan at this stage, because when he sells, the bank loan will have to be redeemed and then done again. So it's a bit troublesome. Legal fee, of course, in the initial purchase. Then when you're ready to do the sub-sale, so sell 1% to the buyer. ABSD, SSD, everything will be paid on the 1%. There's an additional $642 to be paid to the developer's lawyers for them to issue the new SMP, sale and purchase agreement, in 2 names, Adam and Eve. Of course, legal fee is also payable both for buyer and seller. Then the third stage, it will be the normal process really. It will be like in 2 names. So after that, they get a bank loan, they use their CPF, then progress payment starts. Okay, some important things to note when people are doing a part purchase. Okay, Of course, everything that has been used from CPF must go back. The outgoing party, who is the buyer. So if back to the example of John and Mary. Okay, so Mary will be the remaining party. So Mary must be able to finance the whole loan when she stays on, because John is out of the picture now. So Mary must be able to finance the whole loan. So a few things to note. Financial planning is very important. So the remaining owner must be able to finance the loan. Any CPF that needs to be refunded must also be refunded. Okay. Of course, in the event of a divorce, the person with 1% must show the court that he or she actually contributed more than 1%. Like I explained earlier, all these transactions must be deemed to be at arm's length. So treat it as if the buyer and seller are not related. Then the whole left pocket, right pocket issue is dealt with. Okay, trust. Okay, it's becoming increasingly popular now, whereby parents who already own existing property, they don't want to sell, but they also want to own another property, they buy under their children's name. It's important to just put it at the start before I begin, that once they enter into the trust deed, once they purchase the property under trust, the property does not belong to the parents anymore. Straight away, it goes to the children. Yeah, the whole ownership is passed to the children. Okay, so what is a trust? It's a legal arrangement that allows the trustee or the parent to hold the property for the benefit of the child. When the property is held on trust, the trustee only holds the legal title. You can treat legal title as paperwork. Okay, the trustee on paper is the owner, but in actual fact, the kid, the son or daughter, is the real owner, beneficial owner. That is why we pay stamp duty on the beneficiary's profile. If anybody says otherwise, then that means they have to pay the ABSD on the trustee level, which defeats the purpose. So the beneficial interest or the real ownership of the property must always vest in the children. Okay, so like I said, managing the property only, then the ownership lies with the beneficiary. So this diagram here kind of explains what a trust structure would look like. So the settlor in this case will be the parent, who is also the trustee, will own the legal title, whereby equitable ownership belongs to the beneficiary. Okay, so stamp duty considerations, like I said earlier, the property must belong to the children. Okay, cannot argue otherwise, because if you argue otherwise, it might be an anti-tax, it might be a tax avoidance provision, it might be a tax avoidance arrangement under this provision of the Stamp Duties Act, the law. So if you look at number 2, any arrangement means any scheme or trust, okay, which is for the purpose of not paying taxes, then they will be caught by Section 33, and the penalties are quite expensive. Okay, so the general effect of this law is to give IRAS the right and the power to disregard any arrangements which they think is for the purpose to reduce or to avoid tax. So it's important to get the lawyer to draft the trust deed to show that the purpose of this trust is not to avoid tax, but it is for a genuine gift to the children. It's for a genuine succession planning. Okay. Yes, like I said earlier, it's for genuine succession planning and a genuine gift, because the child who is under 21 cannot hold property in his name. So therefore, the parents buy first. Okay, the trust also must be irrevocable, meaning it cannot be taken back. Any rental income or proceeds following the sale, or if the property is rented out, must belong to the beneficiary. Okay, any benefit coming out of that trust property must belong to the beneficiary. Okay, when the child turns 21, he or she can require the trustee or parent to transfer the legal ownership to them and thereby terminate the trust. Okay, bankruptcy laws, it's very important. If the trustee becomes a bankrupt within 3 years of the exercise of the option or the trust deed, most of the time it's the same date, then the official assignee or the government can take back the property, set aside the gift. Okay, when you buy property under trust, it has to be full cash. When you want to sell, it's important to appoint 2 trustees. Okay, very important that all sales proceeds or any income is for the benefit of the beneficiary only. So what we always advise clients at this stage is to set up a joint account with the parent's name as well as the child's name. So that way it's easier to show that everything that is put in and taken out is for the benefit of the child. Okay, some commonly asked questions that we have come across. Are there any maximum number of beneficiaries? Generally, no, but we always advise them to keep it within the same family. Okay, trustees, joint tenants, or tenancy in common. Always better for trustees to own the property as joint tenants, so that when one trustee passes away, the other trustee will get full control of the property. Then he can appoint another trustee. It's easier just for the management of it, just administratively wise. Okay, when the beneficiary passes away, the property will vest in the beneficiary's estate. There's a dispute between the trustees, of course, got to go to court, settle. Will beneficiary be eligible to buy HDB? Generally, no. We'll have to sell the private property held under trust first. Okay, another point I wish to highlight here. If the trustees also own HDB, let's say the parents own a HDB, they want to buy a private property, but they don't want to sell the HDB. So they buy property under trust for the children. If the current HDB that the trustees own or the parents own is still within the MOP, they cannot own an interest in private property, even as trustees. This one is very important. Oh yeah, okay, here. As long as the MOP has passed, then they can. How would the ABSD be determined if some beneficiaries own? Okay, this one I think quite straightforward. The higher rate will always apply. Okay, when you want to sell, why 2 trustees? Because Section 15 of the Trustees Act says that one trustee cannot give valid receipt. Need 2 trustees to check and balance each other. Can I choose to transfer the property after he or she turns 50 or 21 or 25? Yes, any age, okay? But like I said earlier, once the beneficiary turns 21, he or she may require the trustee to transfer the legal ownership to them and thereby terminate the trust. Okay, I will now take some questions. If you have any questions, please just ask. I'll do my best.
Hi, Timothy. May here. I have a question. If the parent were to buy under trust, can the parent, let's say they have 2 children, can these parents just buy under one child's name, and then in future, if they have more money, then they buy under another child's name? Would that be better rather than put 2 names together?
That's definitely possible, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have some questions here. Can one parent be the trustee and sell the property after 3 years on child's behalf? Yes, you can, but it's better to appoint another trustee so that they do not break Section 15 of the Trustees Act. If owner was granted to sell his HDB early before 5 years, can owner still be trustee? If owner was granted to sell his HDB early. Okay, I'm not too sure what this means. I'm sorry.
I think granted to sell still have to meet the minimum of 5 years.
If they had sold the property, then okay. If they had sold the HDB, then okay. Okay, can I see slide 30 again? Sure. Slide 30. Slide 30 is which one? Sorry.
Sorry, no, I think it's slide 27.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do the trustees need to report to any government department? No, generally no. But any taxes paid will be on the trustees level. Okay, Daryl, what happens if the child is no longer around? Like I said, the property will vest in the beneficiary's estate. Latest regulation for buying for buyer buying property under trust. There have been no updates, but maybe you could ask a specific question. I'm not too sure, sorry.
Hi, Timothy.
Yes.
Can you explain a bit on the section 15 of this two trustees? If one parent is allowed to sell, then how does it violate section 15?
Okay, very good question. Okay, if the property at the start, the trust, when it was right at the beginning, if there was only one trustee, the buyer's lawyer, if you are selling this property, the buyer's lawyer may require that the trustee appoints another trustee. Okay, but if the buyer's lawyers do not pick up on this, then there is no issue if the trust deed allows for the power of sale. Okay, it's a bit technical, but it depends on whether or not the buyer's lawyers picked up on section 15. So section 15 says one trustee cannot issue valid receipt of sales proceeds. The purpose of section 15 is to have two trustees so that if the property is sold, each trustee can check on the other trustee and both of them issue valid receipt of the sales proceeds for the property, because the trustee is only there to manage the property for the beneficiary, and therefore everything that the trustee does must be for the benefit of the beneficiary. So if there's one trustee, the purpose of the law to have two is that if there's one trustee, then there's nobody to check on him. He can take the money and run. So the law is there for the protection of the beneficiary, to have two trustees to check on each other.
Okay, hi Timothy again. So I understand, but if originally the trust, there was only one trustee, and after 3 years, if they sell and the buyer's lawyer requires the two trustees, can they at that point add another trustee?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
In the trust deed, for them to do so, the trust deed must allow the trustee to appoint another trustee. So there has to be a power of appointment. So it's important. Basically, my point is it's important to get the lawyer to draft this.
Okay, so it can be done with Anthony Law, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, Timothy.
Hi.
This is Jean. What if one of the trustee pass on?
Okay, so like I said, this one, trustee, joint tenants, or tenants in common. If one trustee, if there are two trustees and one passes away, then if they hold it in joint tenants, then it will go to the other trustee, right? Then the other trustee can appoint another trustee when the time comes for them to sell.
Okay, so regardless, if one trustee pass on, they have to have to appoint another trustee.
Yep.
Because in this case, my buyers are like elderly, so that is the reason for
I
this.
see.
Yeah. So regardless, they still need to appoint another one when the time comes.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay, there's a question from Marcus Fund. If the property under trust is sold, the money goes to the trust fund and this trust will be dissolved and the parents get back all the funds. No. The sales proceeds must go to the beneficiary. Okay, the trustees must act in the interest of the beneficiary. So everything must be for the benefit of the beneficiary. But if the beneficiary is too young, of course the money will be managed by the parents. So as long as the parents can show that this money is used towards the benefit of the beneficiary, like even if you buy like a family dinner, then yeah, it's a wide definition, like the benefit of the beneficiary. But the only risk in all these arrangements is, of course, if the beneficiary thinks that when the parents sold the house, and if they are savvy enough, they tell or they complain or they take the parents to court and say, this was my property, they sold it, I did not get any money, they are in breach of their duties as trustees. Then of course that is a breach but that will be the only risk, and it's quite small because we don't expect children to sue their own parents. But that's just the purpose of the laws.
Timothy,
Yes, hi.
can I ask, do we also do will for trust property for the trustee?
Sorry, I don't understand your question. Can you repeat?
But this trustee, husband and wife,
Hmm?
so they do a will. Will this trust, I mean, this property that they bought for their children, can they also do a will for this property in case both of them pass on?
Cannot, because the property is not theirs.
Also, if both pass on, it will auto go to the beneficiary, even though it's less than 21.
Correct.
Then who will then manage this trust? I mean, this property.
In their will, they cannot have instructions as to how the property will be given to or who the property will be given to, because it already belongs to the beneficiary. But in their will, they can provide for substitute trustees.
Okay.
Hi, Timothy.
Hi.
Got question about the buying in trust.
Sure.
Concerning the Bankruptcy Act for 3 years. Previously, I understand for BUC, the commencement date of the 3 years is from the CSC date. But earlier on, you mentioned that from the date of exercise.
Yes.
Has this been changed?
Okay, it has not been changed per se. So why in the past we took the position of CSC is because the position in the law is still very relatively unclear. It has not been tested in court.
Oh, okay.
How laws develop is that it will be developed when there's a problem and then there's a judgment. From that judgment, we will develop the law. So this has not been brought to court yet, which date, blah, blah, blah. Because it's very unlikely for the trustees to be bankrupt if they can buy the property full cash. Okay, but we have done some research, very in-depth research, and I'm happy to say that our opinion also coincides with another law firm, which is quite big in Singapore, and we both share the same opinion that it should start from the date of the contract. And the contract date for BUC would be the exercise of the sale and purchase agreement, and for completion, for completed property, it will be the exercise of the OTP.
If this is the case, then this will be a very big change, because our understanding of the recent change is that the BA reduced from 5 years to 2 years.
Yes.
Whereas recently we heard from Anthony Law that the effective date will start actually from exercise date. So we wanted to verify with you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, anyway, if you need any more help or if you need to contact any members of the firm, of course, you can email me. My preferred mode of contact will be email. And if you need to contact any of our business development managers who are extremely helpful and very knowledgeable, you can just take down their numbers here.
Timothy?
Yes, hi.
Yeah, hi. This is Cheryl here. I just want to check, okay, for 99.1, in the lawyer side is classified as 99.1. Does this apply also to the banker side?
Can you please repeat
When
that?
they make the loan.
Sorry?
You see, when they have the loan, two persons' name is in the loan as owner. So basically, is that the law firm was informed of the 99.1. But is this recognized also in the loan side?
Okay, so when they come in to buy a property, they decide to own it 99.1, right?
Yes.
Then they apply a loan.
Yes.
Yeah, the bank will not discriminate against who owns 99, who owns 1. They will secure it against the full value of the property.
So when it comes to, let's say, for example, when somebody want to get out, all right, they still have to pay the full loan?
No, okay. Okay, I know what you mean now. Okay, so if it's 99.1, when they apply for the loan, the bank will look at the value of the property, then they will decide how much to lend. They won't look at the ownership. Okay, but when they want to sell, they want to decouple. Right? If Mary owns, if John owns 1%, then his share of the loan is also 1%.
Okay. So you take it that the value of the loan on John's part is 1%.
Yes. You can say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So John have to settle the 1% payback.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, not really payback, but because when they do the decoupling, the initial loan, which is between John and Mary, the entire loan will have to be paid back.
Oh, okay.
Entire loan will have to be paid back. Then Mary will go and take another loan. Could be with the same bank, could be with another bank. That is why her loan will have two portions. If it's for 99 it will just be one portion. It will finance the 99% of the value of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Timothy, I have a question for 100 cell 1. Can you go to the page on 100 cell 1?
100 cell 1. This one.
Next page.
Next page.
Okay. On the left side, under initial purchase in one name, item number 3.
Yep.
You see the 15% cash, right?
Yep.
Okay. Can we do 101 part share before paying the 15%? Which means if the developer agree to delay this 15% payment, can we do the part share via Anthony Law?
Yeah, with Anthony Law.
I mean with your company.
Yeah, I mean you can. Okay, this one, whether or not we do, when there's a case on hand, you let us know. One of our business development managers will advise you accordingly. I'll just go through the process. So if they are able to get an extension of time for the 15% deposit.
Yes.
Maybe like 20 weeks, that kind of extension, 20, 25 weeks, that kind of extension, then yeah, no problem.
20 weeks, you mean in total, including the 8 weeks?
Yes. No, 20 weeks from 20 weeks extension.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, the reason for 20 weeks is because between A and B, when they buy and sell, you already need like 8 weeks to complete. All right, then you have to go and get the consent from the developer, then you're going to get your bank loan. Okay, all this also take time. So therefore, we recommend a longer extension. But of course, if they are able to pay cash, that'll be best. It'll be the cleanest way and to avoid any delays or any scares or any anxiety.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Timothy.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. I've got questions on this this 100 cell 1.
Yeah.
So this 1%, they can use the CPF as well as to get loan, maximum loan. So the issue is I have a customer who asked me in case there's a divorce.
Yeah.
So this 1% owner, can he take back all his payment to the property?
Okay, interesting question. So all this, it's very good to consider all this before we go into any contract. So as with everything that we do, there will of course be risk. Okay, so in the event of a divorce, the 1% owner must show that he or she had actually contributed more than 1% in order to get back more than 1%. But as far as the CPF is concerned, if it comes from the 1% owner, it has to go back.
So it doesn't guarantee that whatever he pay, he will take back. Am I right?
Okay, this one is best left to divorce lawyers to advise. Okay, but based on my experience in a divorce, when husband and wife go to court, the court, okay, in relation to this property, the court will not just look at the ownership status 99.1, then say, oh, okay, you own 1%, you get back 1%. No, the court will look at everything. The court will look at the length of the marriage, why the marriage broke down, the financial contribution to the house, the not financial contribution. So like even if the 1% owner stays at home, renovate the house, improve the house, do housework, they will give more than 1%. So the court will look at the whole marriage or the breakdown of the marriage with a very wide lens. They won't just zoom in on 99.1. They will look at every other factor.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, one last question before.
Okay, Sheila, I'd like to check with you.
Hi.
Recently, I have a seller who gifted the property to wife, and buyer bought over the property. And buyer's lawyers were saying that the law need 5 years, and then also to clear the bankruptcy act. Also, buyer is using some CPF fund to buy the property.
Yeah.
So also need CPF clearance. Can you explain more on this part?
Okay, the laws have changed. So in the past, it used to be 5 years. Okay, under the new restructuring dissolution, it's called Insolvency Restructuring and Dissolution Act, IRDA for short. It has been changed to 3 years. Okay, but some banks and some state boards are not, I wouldn't say up to date, but they are not, because it takes time for their rules to change also, their internal paperwork, their internal information to be passed down. So maybe some banks and some institutions have not changed this, but the laws have changed.
So buyer was saying that have to wait for CPF clearance to exercise the option. What does it have a relationship with CPF while he's buying over the unit, which is a gift?
Okay, you see, when you apply to a bank or any other institution for that matter, for the release of funds, they will ask this question: is the property subject to a gift? Okay, then we have to tick yes. Then they will ask the next question: has it been 5 years? So all this was based on the previous laws. So the reason for this is because of the Bankruptcy Act. If it's within that 5 years, then of course it can be clawed back. Then of course CPF will not be so willing to release the money. The bank also will not be so willing to finance.
Right now, we have a new law to say that Bankruptcy Act has also reversed to 3 years.
Yes.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Okay, I'll just take one last question from Tan Siok Wah. Hi, Timothy. I have a customer who just sold their HDB, granted to sell early before NOP. So can he buy a new private new launch under trust for his daughter? Yeah, as long as he has sold his HDB. Thank you. Okay. I hope everyone has sort of benefited from this and that I was clear in my presentation. If you need to contact us, these are our numbers again.